communication. Ulrich is just pinning the comment.
Hey DJ Proclaimer.
Good to see you on here. It's been a little while. Hope you and family are well.
Indeed.
You're gonna see how many emojis you can get on there.
I know, right? Gotta try and figure out all the famous ones.
The things that mean something.
Wait, hold on. Let me see. Let me be a bit
cheeky.
What about the other one? Where is it? The fruits.
The fruits and the vegetables.
Cheese. Which other ones did they use? The banana.
Hey guys.
The bone.
We're going to be talking about it all today.
Yeah, I'm going to just leave that. Hey guys.
There is a lot to discuss today. It's gonna be an interesting one. Hey, Kizwiz, good to see you on here.
What's going on?
So, today we are going to be having a really juicy discussion. We want you to get involved. We want you to share, to give your points, to even let us know your thoughts and your opinions on this, because I think it's one of those things where you have an opinion on it. You either like it, you don't like it, you think you're all for it, you're all against it. Yeah, so we hear both sides, but we want to hear everybody's opinion on it. So, hey, good evening. Definitely do share. Definitely do let us know your thoughts, because we're going to be discussing a lot today. So Ulrich, as usual, is going to check that we are live on Insta. Well, we know we're live on Insta, but he's going to check that we're live on Facebook and YouTube, making sure that everyone can hear us okay. Or should I say, good night, yeah. We've already got emojis going on, and I think the chat today is going to be full up of emojis so that we can really understand one another and then see how the communication is like that as well. That would be pretty funny.
100%.
So this is the run up to our Good Friday and Resurrection Sunday, Easter as it's more commonly known. There's so much going on in so many churches and so many people's lives right about now. We've seen lots of people just posting their flyers for their Good Friday events, for their services, for the different ways they're just recognising what Christ has done for them. So it's really, really good to see just how people are evangelising and sharing, really. How's it going? It's going to be fire. Yes, you're right. You are so right. And we've got a lot to talk about. And it's just that powerful week. I think in a week like this, you kind of just can't help but think back to where you've come from, how far you've made it, how much your life has changed. I know that's what I've been doing. I've been really reflective just on the person I've become. A year into lockdown. Kyle,
what's going on, guys?
How's it going, guys? You alright? Yeah, just a year into lockdown. Ulrich and I were just talking about a few bits and bobs just before we started, and it's just it's lovely to kind of see we're still here, we're still going strong, and still seeing family, still seeing friends. Yeah. So I love it. Kayon has already kicked us off. She's like, the title of today's topic. She's laughing, but she's also got one eyebrow raised. So that already says
what does that say? What is it actually say?
Well, let's start off today, and then we can start off.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey.
Hope you guys are good. Yeah, you know, Siobhan's kind of done a bit of the welcome today. But yeah, for those of you who don't know who we are and you're watching us for the first time, whether you're live on Instagram, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, my name is Ulrich.
And I'm Siobhan.
And you are watching To Love Collective, where we believe in believing in love again. So it doesn't matter where you are in your relationship, whether good or bad, there's always space and capacity for you to believe in love again. Because we believe that God wants to show another side of his love. There's so many sides of love. And this year we've kind of been dealing with different facets. We did a whole month basically where we looked at the 5 love languages. If you haven't watched any of those, definitely pop over to our YouTube page and indulge, because that was amazing. But now we're talking about the art of communication, and this is week 3, guys. And we are talking about emojis. It's like a new, I remember back in the day we used to have Siobhan knows this more than me, because I found out when I married her that she spoke it even more than I did. But we had a language, for those of you that may remember, called back slang. And it was like, I dabbled with it when I was in secondary school. I wasn't fluent. Do you know what I mean? Fluent. You know, like when you go France and you're like, bonjour, je m'appelle.
And that's
about it. So I was kind of, you know, just...
So he told me back in the day, like, I know backslang.
I understood it.
Okay.
I understood it.
You never go, ever come something. I went in at speed, and he was like, clearly not as much as you did.
Yeah,
clearly not.
Don't know about that, you know, babes. Do you know what I mean? And so language is such a powerful thing.
Yes.
And I realize with all the amazing languages that we have in this world, right? If the key to knowing a language is understanding it. Yeah. Because sometimes you don't necessarily have to be fluent in it. You just need to understand it.
Yeah.
And I think emojis says that a lot. And
you know what? What's funny is emojis have become a new language.
Exactly.
It's a brand new language. Like, we didn't actually ask for the new language. No. It has emerged. Exactly. So there's a shorthand language with the U and the with the WIV, or the shorthand with the LOL and the acronyms. Be right back. The acronyms. That language emerged as text language. But there was a new wave that came in that rather than even type in LOL, you just put the emoji down. You don't even bother type. I can't tell you the last time I actually wrote LOL.
It's true.
I just go to the one emoji and just send that. Definitely. And it captivates enough. And you know, there's nothing worse than when you want to convey a face and you're not quite sure. So you pull a face on your face, and then you go through the emojis and you think, which face fits the face that I'm pulling right now to this comment? So I'd be like... And I'm like, nah, they ain't got no one kissing their teeth as yet. They got to come correct. And then if there's not the emoji, then you start finding a GIF.
I was about to say.
Communicate what you want to say.
Now I love GIFs, guys. I am, you know, I ain't even trying to put no titles, but I know how to find the GIFs that I need. Because it just communicates 1,000 words.
Yeah, you're so right, Kyle.
Do you understand? It communicates 1,000 words. But I think we want to obviously look at this from a relationship perspective. Yes. So whether that be with your parents, because obviously when you're talking to your mum and dad, there's certain things that you can't really drop.
True.
Do you know what I mean?
Very true.
I remember one time, you know, my dad even, I think he dropped, what was it? BTW, the acronym, which was by the way. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know this one, you know? Or maybe it's the other way around, I can't even remember. But there's so many different areas and people that you can use particular things with. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? And we're going to talk about all of it. We're going to talk about all of it because I think it's quite funny.
See, now the thing is, I think when we start getting into using text language, we're basically informally speaking.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't use that text language if you were applying for a job and things like that. There's a time and a place for it.
Definitely.
But I think within relationships between partners, that text language, those emojis can start to take up some of the expression, the art of expressing yourself. So rather than actually typing what you feel, because we're in such a fast, like we're in a microwave generation, we need to be in and out. Like me saying, I don't type LOL anymore, I just find that one face and you kind of get the picture. I think I question to myself, are we really...
See, Kyle, I'm done.
Kyle,
I'm done.
TLE.
I don't even know what limbo is, bro.
Oh, Lord.
Or TTYL, bro. What's that? I'm done. Anyway.
Look at that LOL for lots of love. Now that right there is just a problem, because when someone is writing...
But the crazy thing is, though, guys, is we write LOL, but we're not laughing.
Oh, all the time. You actually, you're hardly laughing.
How many
out
people
loud.
do that? How many people do that? You literally, you could have screw face.
Yeah.
And somebody says something, you're like, nah, that's funny.
He's talk to you later.
Nah, that's funny.
Okay, thanks.
Laugh out loud, talk to you later, I'm done. So yeah, guys, like this communication thing, we're definitely gonna talk it. So my dad thinks emoji is someone crying, and he sent it in the family chat when they were speaking about his brother had passed away. I'm done.
See that right there is just miscommunication on a completely different level.
Completely.
So you send the laughing tears.
Yeah, but it's the wrong tears. It's the wrong tears.
When you're talking about someone having passed away, that's not what you want.
It's the wrong one. It's the wrong one.
It's not what you want at all.
Jeez.
And as much as that's comical,
yes,
it can do something as well. Okay, so prime example, I remember, and it really upset me. I found out about something that had happened in someone's life. And it was really, really serious. And I sent a message to someone else saying, oh my goodness, look at this thing. And I meant to have the face that was shocked. But somehow, this phone of mine decided to put the laughing face. Now this face was not. This is not the topic that you would laugh about. It's a serious topic. And I didn't see a response from the person who I sent it to for a long time. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, they haven't messaged me back. The autocorrect. And then what happened is, when I came back to my phone to check, oh, how come I haven't heard from them? I then realised the emoji that was sent was not the right emoji. Now, the emoji that was sent now came across that I was laughing like insensitively that something so serious had happened. So then I had to leave a voice note to say, oh my goodness. And you know, I couldn't delete it because so much time had passed. So I couldn't remove it. And it was just there as an embarrassment, but also as a reminder to me to be like, you need to be careful. Because now what has been communicated is that almost that you would be okay with this insensitive... It really portrayed me in a negative light. And all I could do was speak to the person and say, please, that was not a laughing matter. That was something that I was trying to communicate, like my shock and but you're not in the person's head. You don't know. And so then when they said, oh yeah, like I saw your message and I didn't respond to it because I saw that laughing face, and I just thought, like,
what? How
could you find that funny? And so immediately it struck a chord with me to be like, you have to be extra careful. You cannot play with these emojis, because at any time it could just mean and send the complete wrong signal, and that can have just some devastating effects. Definitely.
So I think what I wanna do is I want us to really like talk about what is at the root of this of this like emoji thing, because obviously it's been given to us as a tool for communication, but what I find now is that it's slowly almost replaced almost the English language, to the point where I know that there's some young people who can have a whole conversation purely using emojis, because they mean completely different things. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like backslang. When you were in that crowd when you were younger, you knew what it meant, because you were in that age group, you were in that sphere of like influence, and you know, everybody understood what things are. Like for me right now, some of the young people, when they start talking stuff or saying stuff, I'm just like, what does that mean? Huh? No, explain. Do you know what I mean? Because I use emojis in a particular way where it's, in my view, it's understandable. It's relatable to what's being said. But when these young people are using, like, Kyle, what's the frog and the tea? I don't get it. Do you get what I mean? And we've played the games where they put all the different emojis so that you can know what movies are and names of people and famous events and it's amazing. It's fantastic. But at the core of it, I feel like what's happening now, and I think it's probably gotten maybe a little bit worse with coronavirus and everyone being in isolation, that we're no longer talking. You know, it's almost like we're hiding behind our phones. We're hiding behind technology, and we're kind of in this era where it's almost like people are afraid of face-to-face interaction.
Yeah, it's true.
Communicating, using our words to express how we feel. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just really worried about like the next generation, because I just feel like we have to be able to communicate ourselves, not just in text or in emojis, but especially when we get into a relationship with, you know, a significant other, where you have to now start communicating how you feel. Like, how does that work? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, when I hear people talk about, you know, like not having phones like in the bedroom and all of that kind of stuff because you need to like communicate with your spouse, and we don't really necessarily have that issue because we're not always on our phones like that. No. But it's like sometimes I've heard of couples like having text conversation like in the house.
And that sounds mad. That sounds crazy because you're right next to each other, so surely you would just talk. But I guess this is the danger zone, isn't it? When you get so reliant on the phone to do the work. Now it's like remembering numbers. Exactly. You go past that stage. You're like, I don't have any need for it. And it's the truth. I can't tell you the last time I had to remember a telephone number off by heart.
Mine.
Yeah. But I mean, outside of like not having my phone and having to use a payphone or something like that to call someone, that's why I can't remember. But the point is, are emojis a good thing? So, you know, like if I go on someone's live, sometimes I don't want to disclose much about myself, so I might use certain emojis just to communicate that I'm in favor of something or not in favor of something. Like it gives me a sense of them not knowing necessarily who I am. I can just put up an emoji and that is enough. But then at the same time, the flip side is, in our relationships, is it actually getting more to the point?
Right.
So that someone sees that picture and actually says, you know what? Usually they wouldn't have actually like... So some people, they're not really in tune with their feelings and their emotions and how they really feel. However, an emoji can lead to opening like the starter of a conversation. But I feel at the flip side, there's the danger that technology is getting in the way.
Yeah.
And then you kind of start thinking to yourself, how often are we using technology as an avoidance to avoid conflict? How often are we using technology as an escapism to not have to deal with the fact that you're sitting in the room in silence? Like
facing the problem.
Exactly. You know, like, rather than feeling like there's nothing to talk about, you get on your phone and start looking at something and start sharing that with each other. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that you should be able to share what you're looking at, and you should have time that you can browse your phone and look through your social medias and things like that. But when it starts to take over, you actually just being in the room, because there's something about being present and listening actively. I never forget, I was studying my counselling course, and one of the things they said is active listening. And you physically have to switch off from phone
or whatever it is that
media
you're doing.
Distractions in whatever capacity, whether it's television or computer or whatever it is, and actually take the time to make eye contact, take the time to actually listen. And I think, unfortunately, more than just our spouse getting the brunt of it, I think our children get the brunt of it. There's nothing worse than when a child is trying to get your attention.
Ooh. And you're on your phone. Yeah, that's hard, man.
Now, you could be on your phone for a valid reason. You could need to send an email really quickly so that something can be prepared or actioned or something like that. Or it can just be that you're browsing social media. But there's nothing worse than when your child is fighting for your attention because you have to get an Instagram post out, and then you feel like they're waiting on you. And they're just like, why am I competing? There's nothing. If my youngest 1-year-old boy comes into the room, there's 2 things he's trying to pick up. Oh, 3 things. He's trying to pick up my phone, or Ulrich's phone. He's trying to pick up the TV remote, or he's trying to pick up the mouse for the computer. He will walk past the puzzle. He will walk past the ball. He will even walk past the biscuit on the floor that he's dropped. He will lose interest in some of those things. But one thing he will always come back to is trying to get my phone, trying to get the computer mouse, or trying to get the television remote. And I think it speaks volumes because it's
so true.
It's like it's communicating to us just how much time it's actually taking in us. Like how much focus, how much attention it gets. And I just think, likening it to God, how does God feel? How many times do we check our phone, look at our phone, spend browsing, compared to actually just talking with God? You know, like where we would normally have a bit of quiet time, we might pray, or we might sing a worship song, or we might just open up a scripture or think again about the message that was preached on Sunday and think, oh yeah, what was that scripture that pastor mentioned, to look it up. But almost like that technology just kind of acts as a distraction.
That's true. That's true. No, I think you're absolutely right. And I think it's I think the massive word there is distraction, and I think it's how do you kind of organize yourself where you, like, what were we doing before social media?
We were playing out.
I think
we
that's
were riding our bikes.
I think
that's trees.
That's the biggest question. Do you get what I mean? Like, what were we doing before social media and Instagram? Do you get what I mean? Because I know, obviously, you know, social media has given us such a massive ability to be able to connect with any and anyone around the world.
And that's why it's
amazing. You know, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? However, what is happening now is it's and I guess it's just fighting an addiction, isn't it? Just like with anything, when it begins to consume your time and you feel like you have to be on this platform, otherwise, you know, you can't function, or otherwise you might miss an opportunity, or you might miss the beat, or you might not know how people are doing. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I think of like just Siobhan's parents, you know what I mean? I remember when we first started dating, do you know what I mean? Like, they're a very family orientated, like, family. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Which is amazing. And they, you know, her uncles used to come by anytime, like literally on a Friday night, without even planning anything. Yeah. You know, there could be like, there could be 15 people up in the house just chilling. Oh, we're just passing by. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what, sorry guys. I think that's what we're missing.
Yeah.
We're missing. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
What is this thing doing? Go away. Sorry. We're missing like the human interaction.
Yeah.
We're missing the connecting with people, actually being there for people. Do you get what I'm saying? And going to visit people, and obviously we know with coronavirus that's kind of been slashed. Do you know what I mean? Completely. But I just think this pandemic has had its positives and its negatives. Yeah. And I'm really hoping that people have in some ways gotten bored with the technology.
But that will never happen.
It will never happen. But I'm hoping
because that's what's been keeping them together.
It's true. It's true. But I'm just hoping that people will, that there's almost like a longing for human interaction and conversation.
Yeah. But you're right on that point, that people they've missed it.
Yeah.
They've missed seeing someone face to face.
Because we're relatable beings. Do you know what I mean? We're not built to be in isolation.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you get what I'm saying? We're built to be relatable and to speak to people and and communicate and and I think we have to go back to. We have to.
Guys are reminiscing with the old school games, run out.
Listen,
yeah, we played a lot of that.
I'm telling you, knock down ginger. Yeah. What? Listen, I got in trouble.
But anyway.
But yeah, I think, and because even when I think about like the younger kids, do you know what I mean? Like one of Matthias's friends, do you know what I mean? They don't have toys. Outright said, I don't have toys.
I don't play with toys.
I don't play with toys anymore. I just play video games. He's 6 years old, and I'm just like, and Matthias has asked me a few times about video games, and I am
really trying to go.
I'm not even trying to go in there because that's just gonna be another hook. Yeah. And I'm just like, no.
Yeah, we want to salvage the younger years as much as possible before it gets
definitely because these things we have to just be very careful.
So I've got a question, and I want you guys to respond to us. Let's get in. How do you feel about when someone sends you emojis as a conversation starter, as an initiator for married couples, as those dating, like someone saying, do you want to come out tonight? Like, how do you feel? Do you feel like it makes you feel more special, or do you feel like it's a bit of a cop-out with them just using an emoji? Do you want someone to tell you they love you or just send you a heart? Do you get what I'm saying? Like does it mean the same? Does it mean as much?
Yeah, does it mean the same?
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, okay, for those who are married, if someone sent you the aubergine and the peach, like, as a little hanky-panky tonight, honey, does that mean the same? Or would you prefer to have the person actually articulate, actually communicate it with their words?
Yeah, it's so true, because I think it's desensitizing.
Into a message. Effort. Depends on the person. Some people, I'm like, others I'm just like...
Well, thanks for those emojis, guys.
I think it depends. Okay. But Kyle, you have to say on what? You have to give us an explanation.
Yeah. Could be banter. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is good.
And banter is important in relationships.
Definitely.
It just keeps the fun. It keeps the person's supposed to be in your life for a reason. How familiar you are with it. Now, exactly, that's what we were saying before. At the beginning, we were saying you wouldn't use emojis and text language with an employer if you're going for a job and things like that. But there are certain people that you're comfortable with. Yeah. And they just get you like that, and they just understand.
Vibes.
Yeah. Sometimes if I haven't spoken to a friend in a while, I'll just message her with the look and she'll buzz up. Love it. Hey.
Yeah, because I guess they just understand what that means. Because I think that's it as well. It's like the people who you're you're sending emojis to, do they understand you? Do they understand what that means?
You mean?
Do you understand? And have you been friends enough to kind of get to that place of understanding this emoji means
this.
Do you get what I mean?
And there's no judgment.
Yeah, exactly.
There's just a freedom to be free. Like, you want to be free and joke around and either take the mick or make light of a situation. Perfectly fine. I also think that sometimes you can see an emoji and think that someone's overreacting. Like, they might do that angry face and you're like, I didn't think it was that deep. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
so it depends. Like, if you're in a group. Whoa.
I hear you, Tolu. I hear you. I hear you.
Out with emojis, that would be the end of that.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah,
love it.
Because even breakups.
Yeah. Oh.
Even breakups.
Oh.
I remember I got broken up with.
I
got broken up with by text. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. When I was in year, what was I? I was in year 9, I think. Yeah, it was horrible. I remember actually that day because it was the day that I set up my Hotmail account. It was years ago. I got broken up with by text.
That's not nice.
It's not nice, is it? And I remember that day I was so vexed because I was just like, why can't you tell me to my face?
Yeah.
Do you know? And I think we did. And you know what? Even now, I must say, just because of, I guess, sometimes how busy I am, it's so much easier because we're communicating. And this is it. Because we have these technologies, we're able to have so much more interaction with people. Yeah. So actually what's happening is, because we're so connected to these platforms, we're even more busy.
Yeah.
Because we're entertaining
at a higher level. Yeah,
many different conversations.
Yeah.
Like today, you don't even want to know how many people I spoke to today. You don't want to know. Do you understand? Different groups, different conversations, continually going. You're moving from one to another.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys watch this show called Good Doctor, right? And it's this autistic doctor, and he's amazing. Very, very smart. He's got complete what's the thing called now? Photographic memory, right? Yeah. So he can be doing one complex operation, and he'll just switch to his personal life and start talking, then switch to, do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's almost how we are sometimes. We're just switching from one conversation to another, switching context, switching story, and we're just meandering through. Do you know what I mean?
It's true.
And for me, sometimes it's easy to just send a message.
Yes.
Instead of calling someone.
Yeah.
Because it just means I don't have to sit there explaining.
Yes.
And having the response, which is going to move to something else, which is going to move to something else, and before you know it, you're there for 30 minutes when I could have just texted that. In about 2 or 3 texts would have taken me 10 minutes, and that's it.
Yes.
We get to conclusion.
But that's just the thing. I think that it avoids that conversation.
Exactly.
Because if you call that person, sometimes it just makes it's the extra touch. And sometimes it's quicker, sometimes it's longer, but it shows the person what you think. Like, there are times, what do you guys think about long voice notes?
Listen, I love me some voice notes, you know.
So Ulrich and I, it's easier to send a voice note
100%.
And get it all out than to stand there and
listen, it just takes me back to one-to-one days, man. When we had free voicemail. Who remembers that? Are you guys too young? Listen, one-to-one, you know. Formerly known as T-Mobile, formerly known as, what are they now? EE.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And we had free voicemail. That was the one.
Yeah,
do you get what I'm saying?
Someone and leave them a voice note.
Leave them a voice note. And I think what I loved about it was just the anticipation for the person's reply.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when it's instant, it's almost like, yeah. But when you almost have to... I remember back in the day when I was, you know, single. Communication was via email.
Oh, gosh.
Because when I used to travel to the States, obviously, I ain't picking up no phone. We didn't have WhatsApp. We didn't have any of those things. So you had to email. And I remember, like, certain days, I'll be waiting just to go home to check my email. Do you understand? And let's take it back even 20 years before that. Or even 40 years. When it was World War.
Love language I've developed in the pandemic.
Let's take it back all the way to World War. Do you know what I mean? People were writing letters. They were waiting months, guys.
Yeah.
Months. Even when we were watching The Crown. Like when they just had telephone coming in.
Yeah.
Even that, do you know what I mean? You had to be at the right place at the right time to get the call. The messages. It's like, it's mad. And let's take it even further back. When they were sending pigeons. Listen, communication has come a long way, guys. Pigeons, really, you know. I don't get that one. I just, till today.
The telegrams. But I think what's really important is looking at why we choose.
Our communication.
Going back to what Kayon has said. For Kayon, she's like, listen, I don't want to listen to a long voice note. Whereas for Deborah, she's like, listen, voice notes are my new love language. Now, it's the why we choose. So it's the things that we want. It's either what puts us off or what makes us. That's what I was about to say. Kizwiz, back in the day, those voice notes or 1-to-1 was for leaving songs. You were singing to your friend. You were singing down the phone to your friend. Leaving. You were sending yourself. Sending yourself voice notes. Recording new songs that you had to remember. But yeah, that's a side note. But I think it comes back to why.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you're right.
Definitely. Are you avoiding a conversation with someone?
Yes. Because
you actually don't want to deal with them.
Yeah.
And I know that for some people, rather than interfacing with other people, they would leave a voice note or send a text message. And so now we need to get to the crux of, okay, so why do we want to avoid that personal touch? Why is it that it sometimes makes us feel uncomfortable or anxious, or it sometimes makes us feel threatened?
And sometimes it's just convenience.
Sometimes it's convenience, but there are other reasons why we just feel like, oh, I can't be bothered. But what is that can't be bothered? Is it because now when you're on the phone, you have to actively listen? You have to entertain that conversation. True. You have to be polite. You have to now be patient. You have to listen to what they have to say. Or is it that you just want to get everything out of your head and just go?
Yeah.
Because then it kind of comes back to a bit of a selfish thing.
Oh,
and I know me, I am guilty as charged.
100.
There's a number of you that are on here right now who I just send you voice notes. Because I'm just like, guys, I got to get in, I got to give you this message, and I got to get out. Because I've got 1,000,001 other things to get through on my list of things to do. And as much as that's great, are we getting into this season and this lifestyle where we're just like, on my terms?
Yeah.
The way that I would like it, please. To my liking. Not to etiquette or what's best in a situation to cultivate and maintain fellowship. I question it, because when you now get into the marriage or the relationship of it, and the two of you have to maintain conversation. Yeah. But
you can't hide. You can't hide behind it. It's just like arguments. It's like back in the day, you can argue with your intended, and it doesn't matter because they're in their house and you're in your house, and you don't have to see them. But now, you ain't going nowhere.
It's true.
And especially if you're starting on small beginnings and you got a studio flat. And fam, there's just everything's open plan. You ain't going nowhere.
Everything's open plan.
You're not going anywhere.
And that's the truth.
Yeah.
When you're in each other's space, because I never forget, one of the things Ulrich and I, we used to say to one another is, I can't wait for the time when I don't have to say good night, as in goodbye.
Yeah, have to drive home.
We have to drive home. But actually, I'm just saying good night. And we turn over or we lay next to each other or whatever it is. I can't tell you the last time I said goodnight to
Ulrich. She don't say goodnight to me, guys.
She just fall asleep.
Gone.
But the point of it is, I say all of that to say that when you're actually in each other's surroundings, you're actually around each other.
Yeah.
You now have to develop a new level of communication.
Yeah.
A new sense of, especially since lockdown, you have to be able to maintain an understanding and a communication. How can I put this? A communication, like a temperament or a communication environment, so that you're actually saying to each other, yes, we've been next to each other all day.
But we actually need to talk.
Exactly. And we've spoken about a number of things throughout the day. But have we had an actual conversation? Yeah. So,
how are you feeling?
Yeah, taking it out of my mouth before I get
But it's true, because you get so bogged down in the doing, because and you have to understand, like, even for, and we're speaking from experience, because Siobhan and I, from the outset, we work together.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And not everybody's obviously graced to do that. But what it's caused us, and sometimes in some cases forced us to do, is to learn how to actually separate work. And work means whether that's business, whether that's church, whether that's ministry, whatever.
Kids.
Exactly.
Family.
Because then what begins to happen is everything that you're doing and you're a part of becomes your conversation.
Yeah.
And actually what happens is you lose the essence of the person. You know? You're not actually finding out how they are.
Yeah.
How are they feeling? Like, what's going on? Do you understand? Where you at? You know? Are you okay? Are you, tired? Are you just done?
Yeah.
And I think this is it. It's like we have to almost learn how to separate the two. You know, can you stay away from your phone for a season? Do you know what I mean? And just have conversations with people, or come off social media and just have conversations. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think, like, just coming back to what Kayon has just said, is it normal to have days when you just don't want to talk to anyone much, or is that bad? Now,
I'm always craving that. Always.
I think that it comes in two ways. I think if you find that more often than not, you come home from work or you end your day and you don't want to talk to anyone, we need to start reviewing what's upsetting you to the point that you actually just want the solitude, or what's your day like to the point that you actually, like Ulrich is craving, I don't want to have a conversation with anyone right now. I just need some unwind.
But I think with Kayon, she mentioned it earlier, because of her job, she has to listen to people.
Exactly.
So for her, it's like she needs to kind of switch off completely, where she ain't hearing people going.
Exactly.
Because that's brain power. And having to kind of understand what people are saying, read between the lines, listen to what they're not saying. And it is exhausting.
It is exhausting.
And I think sometimes that's why people avoid it, to be fair, because it's just like... Because sometimes with text, although sometimes it can take a long time, people have to be very direct.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because if you're texting something, you need to almost get straight to the point.
Yes.
Which is why sometimes voice notes can be an enemy. They can be an enemy, because... you go to listen to the voice note and it's 11 minutes long. And you're like, And I'm just like, do I have 11 minutes?
to listen? So you start doing stuff around the house.
And then you forget. I don't know if I'm the only one. Please testify.
Have to make notes of what they said and what they covered. But at the same time...
They cover the whole sermon and you have to reply to each point that they've made.
But at the same time, I get it. I do get...
Yeah, of course.
I'm guilty of leaving those long voice notes.
I am too.
So I get what it is. But just coming back to... I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing.
No.
When you don't want to speak to anyone. But I think if you continuously find yourself in this position, we need to identify what is causing this. So if it's your job, that, like Ulrich has said, then maybe we need to look at, is this job sustainable? Like, can you do this long term? Or like, if you feel like you're avoiding interaction, because what happens is you get into a situation where you start getting married or you date or whatever it is. There's only so much time that you can ask for when you come in through the door before your kids are knocking on your legs,
mate,
or jumping on you, or wanting that fresh dose of you time because they've missed it. So
lockdown, yeah.
lockdown, and you can't be giving your kids emojis.
Yeah, exactly. You have to face that stuff, man. Do you know what I mean? And we've got 2 of them who are just acting like 14-year-olds already. Jumping and making all sorts of noise, and they need attention all the time. And so even like the whole pandemic of working from home. Oh. You know, I'm sure some parents on the line can relate, because it's almost impossible. You know, we were talking to one of Matthias's the head of the school, or the deputy head, and just saying, like, just encouraging them and saying thank you for the amazing job that they've done and they do with children, because keeping them entertained and communicating with them in a way that they can understand and interact and learn, we found that we need to appreciate them.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Definitely.
Because they do such an incredible job, and it's all part of the whole communication journey.
Yes.
Because that's what I was saying to Siobhan just today. Like, we're kind of reviewing, you know, things at home and trying to get more of a work-life balance, because it's just crazy. You know, like Matthias seeing and Sarah seeing me on the computer most of the day, sometimes from morning all the way through. And they're coming seeking my attention, and I'm just like, man, I need to work. Like, I've got things that I need to do. So how does this work? Especially when you're not leaving to go. Because if you were gone, that's different. They can understand Daddy's not here. But when Daddy is here, and then it's like you can't play. You can't.
Daddy. But Daddy.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all part of it. But I think it's all part of the journey of maturing.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you get what I'm saying?
And please don't get me wrong, because I don't think that taking the moment to breathe is not a bad thing. Everybody needs it. You need to kind of have your
unwind, necessary, man.
Your switch off time. You need that time. I just think if it starts getting to the point where you're, I don't want to say getting angry, but it's almost like if you feel like actually 5 minutes isn't enough, actually 10 minutes isn't enough, 15 minutes, half an hour, do you know what, I just need more, like, you have to kind of manage how much time you need for your unwind before you can reintegrate into life.
Definitely.
And if you are finding that work-life balance a challenge, we need to look at, okay, so is it that the job is too deep end? Is it that it's grating on you because you're working from home and the space that you're in for work is the same as the space that you're in for trying to unwind? And so now it's getting a bit difficult. And I say all of it because when you've got your spouse or whoever it is, although you need your unwind time, you also need your time to spend with them and to be able to talk with them and to be able to share with them. And also to be able to say, like, I need help. I'm actually finding this difficult. I know, like, if there's a season where, and it's kind of one of the topics and one of the areas that we're going to go into, I remember years ago when things were particularly intense at home for us, Ulrich wouldn't always know how to communicate that he's in this space. And so what would happen is he'd be like, I just need the alone time. And it was almost like a mask of him not being able to say, do you know what, I'm not dealing very well with the pressure of what's going on. And these are like little telltale signs.
Yeah, 100%.
Of things being either too heavy at work or things being too heavy with external pressures, financial, family, things like that. And they can now lead to different things. If you find that your time to unwind needs to keep being extended, like you're not in the mood, or you just wanna be alone, you're actually wanting to isolate, these are telltale signs that maybe we need to look at looking at some changes. And they are so apparent in marriage and relationships, and it's a little danger zone, and it's one of the topics that we're going to cover quite soon, which is like man caves and
100%.
the art of communication when someone's kind of going through, they're on all, it's like, you know, some people either go on autopilot or some people go into their man cave and
shut down.
There's a shutdown, and there's a shutdown in communication, and we have to just be we have to tread carefully around the area just to make sure we are
definitely
we're not getting too far into that, because
yeah, and it's really important conversation to have, because I think especially in relationships, because I remember, I think it's something that TD Jake said, where it's like whenever you're in that position where you're in that man cave or you're on autopilot, your significant other literally has to be there to move wherever you move, because sometimes it's not the time to try to instigate what you want and what you're not getting, but it's about understanding where they're at and just moving with them to support them to getting to, do you know what I mean, where they are. So, but yeah, we'll get into that.
When
that's
we go into the man cave, that's a good one.
It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be. But Kayon, I do hear you though. The commute, I'm a commuter. I love my commute. That's my personal time. Do you know what I mean? And I think of late, that has, I think personally, it's kind of affected me in some ways, because now my day is modeled into one. There is no commute. There is no escape. There is no stop and start. Obviously, I know when I start work, but really, I don't know when I finish. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because before, it's 5:30. Do you know what I mean? You have to leave your office. Do you know what I mean? You can't. And from the moment you come out of that door, you've got your music. You get to think. You get to process. And you get to like de-stress, so that when you come through that door, even if you're tired, it's just like, okay, at least I've had some time, you know?
But then it depends on where you're going. So for us, we live out in the sticks. So Debs, for you, it's slightly different. By the time you start getting to where we live, mate, there's less people on the train. There's more greenery. There's just a flow. Quiet trains. It's do you get what I mean? Like, you get through the London hustle and bustle, and then you get further out, and you don't have as many people that you're interacting with, and actually you're sitting down
or standing up if the train is pop.
But by the time it gets to our side, you're sitting down. There's some places to sit. You've got that time to kind of get that me time down. And for everybody, you've had to find what works for you. Either you go for a walk, either you unwind by lying down in your bed, or you find yourself in the fridge
cheese on bread,
having to take another sip of something to kind of take the edge off. There are lots of different coping mechanisms that people have now resorted to, and the thing is, wow,
3 hours. Oh my gosh, that's a lot to lose.
That is a lot.
But I hear what Rochelle's saying though. I don't necessarily miss the journey as much, but it's the time that journey gave. You know, that me time, that personal time, no interruptions. Even if I'm on a train, I've got something in my ears, or I'm listening to something, or I'm just sleeping.
Bless you, Paul.
You know?
Good to see you.
Bless you, Paul. So yeah. But guys, emojis. Let's get deeper into it. You know, and let's manage the use of them. You know, because we can use them on a social level, which is fine. But when we're getting to the more deeper stuff, the more rooted stuff, I think human interaction, human communication,
we can't forget
is essential,
and it can't be forsaken.
And I think emojis has its place. You know,
absolutely.
and there's levels in communication. And so we have to know at which level of communication that you're at, what is required to now communicate your kind of intentions. So yeah, let's think about that. Next week, we're going to be back. We're going to be going into another element of communication. So it'll be really cool to have you guys join us again. Thank you guys so much.
Bye-bye.
We really appreciate you guys.
Yes,
seriously.
We really
and today is actually a year that we've gone live.
Woo, woo.
So we started Two Love Collective a year ago.
Yeah, the 31st of March.
Jeez, man.
And today's the 30th. So yeah, this time, 1 year ago today,
we started,
we were sharing our story.
Yeah,
for the
journey
first
so
time.
far.
The journey so far. We were sharing how we met. How we got to know each other.
Mad. So we really hope that you guys have been blessed by it, man. It's been mad trying to be consistent.
Yeah.
52 weeks. Not 32. 52 weeks.
52
Jeez.
weeks.
That's mad content, mate. But we still got more to go.
Yes.
We ain't running dry, man.
We're excited.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So we really thank God. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us and just, you know, supporting us, coming on the lives, listening, interacted. Trust me, it means the world.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Really,
And we've
really
always said amongst ourselves, it doesn't matter how many people are online.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We're gonna be appreciative to all of you, and we're gonna praise God, you know, from 0 all the way to 1 million, man.
Yes.
Do you get what I'm saying? So
yes.
Honestly, guys, honestly, come on, yeah, hit those emojis.
Yeah.
But
honestly, yes, and Ulrich has said it all, really. We just want to say thank you guys so much. Continue to share, continue to like, continue to watch it, like with the rebroadcast if you miss any, or share it with your family and friends. And anyone who you know, because, thanks, Shai. I know that the people who watch on the rebroadcast, or the people who catch up later, they continue to reach out to us and say, you know, like, this has been such a blessing. So never forget that there are people that you can share it with that can
100%.
just receive and be encouraged.
100.
Be encouraged to believe in love again.
Get it in there.
Lovely.
Oh my
yes,
gosh.
and YouTube, do the thumbs up on the YouTubes as well.
Yes, Carl.
Nothing but emojis today.
Blow it up. All right, guys, have an incredible night, and we'll see you guys here again next week, Tuesday, 9 p.m. BST. Seeing as things have shifted. So
absolutely.
Guys, have a good one, and we'll see you next week. Take care.